Welcome back to the Fifth Wheel Podcast. I'm Hannah,
I'm Sydney.
and summertime is over. It's
Yes, it
over.
is. It's well, in theory, temperature, absolutely not.
Oh no, it's only just begun temperature-wise.
Holy moly! Like it's hotter than hell outside still. Um,
Oh yeah, and
but
we followed Ferrari to hell and back, so we know what temperature that is.
correct. There was one day last week it was hotter here than it was in San Antonio, so count your blessings.
Ugh.
um, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, war is over. Summer break is over. F1 is back,
Yes.
which is mostly a good thing.
Yeah,
It was mostly. I would say it was a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. I really enjoyed this weekend.
Yeah. Albeit questionable at times, but overall, not the doom and despair that the Dutch Grand Prix was last year.
Oh yeah, no, this was definitely much better, but also worse for certain people. I mean, we'll get into it. It's quite funny.
Correct.
But I say it's funny. This sport in general is just funny overall when you try to remove your feelings from it. It's laughable. You can put yourself in any of the driver's shoes, and you can be really happy or really sad, and I choose happiness.
Agreed.
At least this time around. There's some people that I just can't seem to bring myself out of the despair for, but that didn't have to happen this weekend. For the most part.
But you know,
Anyways,
there were definitely some summer break shenanigans, both
definitely.
in the F1 world and without the outside the F1 world. Sure, words are hard. You know, it's a Monday.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's fine. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, with the summer break stuff, I mean, one of my favorite aspects of summer break was there were like 4 Passenger Princess episodes that dropped over summer break.
Yes.
That was quite possibly like one of the highlights of the F1 summer break for me. One in particular with Alex Albon being asked by Amelia de Moldenberg, like, oh, like people say George is the biggest diva on the grid and this and this and that. And Alex, actual quote from Alex, he's like, he thinks he's the biggest diva on the grid, as in Alex Albon thinks that him himself, Alex Albon, is the biggest diva on the grid, and he's like, people just don't see that side, and I'm like, where is that side? Like,
Well,
I
I
don't
would argue that we definitely do sometimes. Like, Diva Alex
sometimes.
will come out to play, and I could see how I feel like his closeness to George is skewing his perception.
I think it is a little bit because I don't really think it's possible to top George, but hey, he knows
Uh,
him better than most people.
my favorite of those. So if you don't know what we're talking about, the Passenger Princess, she's a British like interviewer. She's got like a whole bunch of different just like interview and like kind of quirky little fun. She's very like dry and sarcastic. It's just fun. And she did this last year with a handful of the drivers. My personal favorite moment was in Charles's episode where he basically like you know says of like, careful or you'll hit the wall. And she was like, oh yeah, you know a lot about that, huh? And he was like, ha. And then like his brain caught up to what she said. Cinema. I was
It was
dying
lovely.
laughing.
Pure cinema. It was lovely.
It was
Um,
hilarious.
it was very funny. I love it. We also had another engagement over the F1 summer break.
Sure did.
George Russell was so busy getting engaged to Carmen that he only posted 2 shirtless pictures the whole summer break. And
Wow.
they were in the same post. So like that was like big deal for him. I think I we made bets last time. Mine was like 5.
Yeah, I don't remember what I said. But yeah, no, that I am not surprised that they got engaged, but I think I also was. Like it just felt like I don't know, because I feel like all of the rest of them have of like that whole quartet except for Lando Norris, which I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Because Charles engaged and married, Lily and Alex engaged, George now engaged, and then there's Lando Norris just like partying it up on the yacht and just like drunk off his ass and just like, and you know, as a single individual also in her 20s trying to get her shit together, it very much just like encapsulated the range of what life in your 20s is. And I fear in this scenario I am Lando Norris. Yeah.
That was really funny to watch. There were so many comparisons. I adored it. I mean, hey, you know what? He's having a lot of fun.
I mean, and I am too. But yeah, that one was. I was like, oof. I was like, man, there goes another one.
And another one.
Every time I open Instagram, it's just like engagement, kid, marriage, engagement, kid, marriage, and I'm like, Europe?
Europe? Going
Travel?
to an F1 race in Europe? In
So,
less than 2 weeks, by the way?
I'm with you, Lando Norris. I feel your pain, except minus the multi-millions of dollars. So I'm basically Lando Norris.
No, you're literally, I mean, hey Lando, it's me, Hannah. Like, the Fifth Wheel Podcast with Hannah Spagnoletti and Lando Norris. I don't know what else to tell you. Anyways,
It's fine.
I did want to add Lewis Hamilton. He actually had the most shirtless pics. He had 5. He took George's number that I thought. I was like, oh, there's like something going on here. I don't know if it's like his relationship with Kim that's like emboldening him. But like he even posted like a shirtless mirror selfie at like a 45-degree angle, like a very millennial angle. And I was like, "Oh. You know what? Hell yeah."
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny. But I don't know. We did also have Valtteri Bottas qualified for the World Championship of bicycle racing.
I missed that.
Yeah, I said, "Hey, buddy, wrong sport, wrong championship."
I mean, technically, he is driving for the World Championship. There is no qualifying for it. He's just not going to get there in the Cadillac.
Yeah, that's fair.
Definitely not this weekend.
No, definitely not this weekend. I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, "Hey, like, you know, there's another World Championship going on. Let's." As Parker would probably want him to focus his energy elsewhere, but I think he has a better shot with the bicycle one.
Probably.
And it's no disrespect to him. It's a lot of the car.
They're a brand new team. They're not gonna be good.
Yeah. He's got to get some sort of competition in somewhere.
Yup.
Yeah. Anyways, most of summer break happened over the last like 4 days. So
Girl, I'm telling you, hold on. What was it? We went like, we had more breaking news in the 2 days leading up to the race than we did the entire like 3-4 weeks of summer break. It was wackadoodles. Cause like, what was it? We started out first with somebody, Alex signed a year contract extension with Williams. So he's going to be around next year for sure. Then the very next day, or maybe the day after, I don't remember, Carlos signed a multi-year extension with Williams. And then the next day, I'm pretty sure, we find out that Isaac Hadjar is out for the Dutch Grand Prix with a wrist injury? Question mark.
yeah.
They were really vague with that, which that break prompted 2 additional breakings of one, Liam Lawson to replace Isaac in the Dutch Grand Prix. So they pulled Liam up from RB back to Red Bull. And then because Liam got pulled back to Red Bull, we had another breaking of Yuki Tsunoda coming into RB for the weekend.
Which breaking. I just thought that was so interesting.
Slices. Good Lord.
Enough slices. And then there's also Max decides to re-sign for 4 more years
on
top of all this. Yeah. I'm like, hey, whoa.
I forgot about that one.
I've got a lot of
that was.
Yes, there's a lot to touch on. I'm going to start with what you started with at the beginning of that, with the re-signing. I would like to just say, I have not seen the news about the re-signing. And notice I'm saying re-signing. Did you know that if you don't put the appropriate dash between re and signing, it spells resigning? Well,
Who would do that?
who would do such a thing? Sydney Bratton would do such a thing. Texting me about Carlos Sainz resigning from Williams. And I just about shit my pants. I was at my office. I was sitting at my desk checking my phone during the workday, which I don't really like to do. I don't do it often anymore. However, I was just sitting there and I see, Carlos resigning in a text message. And like, I'm not kidding when I say my stomach dropped. Like, I felt my stomach drop to my ass. I was like, what
my
the
God.
fuck? So I did immediately Google search. It said re-signs with Williams. I did have to let Sydney know of her grave error, though, and all of the trauma that it caused me for those 45 seconds of my life.
Because to not give too many details, I texted Hannah about just a little situation, and because the Carlos bit was a part of that, and then she was like, once I figured out that, and basically, her stomach had returned to its rightful place, then she, helped me with my little crisis, but it was, yeah, that's my bad, dog.
I have it pulled up here, actually. I replied to your message because, so she sends this, it is in the first sentence of the message, and it's like a long paragraph, or actually more than a paragraph. And I noticed now, I'm looking at it, it says edited. She did go back and change it, but the original did not say this. She's like, blah, 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 Carlos resigning, re-signing. And I replied to it, I say, I just had a fucking panic attack because I read re-signing as in, like, quitting your job. And then I said, okay, let me reread the rest of that message now that my heart rate is under control. Like, I didn't even finish the message. And she was like, hey, I want to tell you about this thing. And I was like, okay. And then I couldn't read the thing for, like, probably 5 minutes. I had to, like, breathe and use the coping skills that I teach my patients.
What? Do you hear that? What?
And her response to this, by the way, instead of being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, she goes, oh, that's my bad, dog.
It was.
And then she goes, fixed it. And I said, okay, my nervous system enjoyed this once I got over the other thing. She goes, yeah, again, my bad on that front. Still not really making up for the trauma that caused.
It's so funny. We get to laugh about it now. Never mind the temporary panic that I'm allegedly was this, the source of. But like it's yeah.
Yeah.
I know
So,
I'm doing
anyways,
a really great job at defending myself.
Oh yes, there's nothing to defend. I mean, there's no
know.
defense for what you've done to me. But we move into Max re-signing, not resigning, for 4 more years. Everyone's like, whoa, what? Where'd that come from? Hey, he's getting like hundreds of millions of dollars, probably.
Yeah.
I think.
I think it's just like it's one of those of like, yeah, he probably has an exit clause. Like I'm sure Carlos does. Like I'm sure most of them do. But it's like I feel like people sometimes were taking Max's statements at like face value of like, oh yeah, if I'm not having fun, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna quit. Like I'm gonna retire from the sport. And it's like I do think part of that is true, but I think right now, even with kind of the like unhappiness that the drivers have with some of the new regulations, like you said, that man's not retiring. He's happy. He's getting to race and be with all of his buddies. I'm sure he would have loved for a slightly different outcome this weekend, which we'll get to. But I was not surprised that he did resign.
I wasn't either. I mean, he's Max Verstappen. Like, what is he gonna do?
He's gonna literally go do any and all other types of racing.
Yes, including the one that he's in already. Like, even though he hates it, he will still keep doing it. It's
Oh yeah.
Like, there's nothing else that he would rather want to be doing for the most part. I don't think he's physically capable of not driving a vehicle at an insanely fast speed for long periods of time.
No, I agree. Like it was just it was crazy though, because the amount of breakings that we had in like a 3-day span was just, I was ill prepared. And then to kind of circle back a little bit to Liam, the fact that he's stepping in for another driver who had a wrist injury in at the Dutch Grand Prix is wild. Like, it literally is the, if I had a nickel for every time Liam Lawson had to fill in at the Dutch Grand Prix because another driver had a wrist injury, we would have 2 nickels. It's not a lot.
Isn't a lot. That's weird.
But it
that
is
happened twice.
very weird that it happened twice, because the other injury that he stepped in for was infamously Danny Rick. It was either Piastri or the wall. And like, it just, I can only imagine, you know that meme of Liam where it's like somebody took a picture of him and like he clearly, it's clearly the middle of the night and he just woke up and has no idea what's happening.
Yes.
Like I'm choosing to believe that that was him waking up to find out that he was getting pulled up to Red Bull that weekend.
Oh yeah, I wonder how many times, and this might not always be something that happens, but maybe it is. I wonder how many times something is announced before a driver is told about it. You know?
Well,
like, I'm curious.
If you're Oscar Piastri, Alpine says that you're driving for them next year, and you definitely haven't signed a contract with them.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. It's just so funny too, because like there's so much weird energy happening there. So first of all, they pull Liam, and then they're like, okay, well now we need someone to replace Liam for this race. They pull Yuki in. We're like, oh my god, Yuki Tsunoda's back. This is awesome. But
Which,
like, Isaac comments on Yuki or RB's post, and you just have fun, bro. But it's like really dry, and I can't tell if he's like petty.
No,
or,
I
like,
think I think he's just being funny. I mean, like, he did something, like, injured his wrist enough and he can't drive. There's nothing to be petty about.
Yeah, and so it's just very, I'm like, what's going, it feels like opposite day, you know, like, I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't feel correct. It's because it's not correct. That's not what we're having.
I said it this weekend while because we went to the lake for Walter's birthday, and so it was like, it's really funny because the last 2 race weekends I've been at the lake for, but which really isn't that. It's just, again, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's kind of weird that it happened twice. Anyways, and I said that there, I was like, it really has felt like watching Yuki race. It genuinely feels like he's been here the whole time.
It does.
And he hasn't. But it's just like, my brain was like, oh yeah, Yuki.
Yeah.
And it didn't think anything was out of the ordinary, and that hasn't been like a normal occurrence so far this season. But like, it has been. Homie hasn't been racing.
No, he hasn't. It feels like he has, just because his presence is lingering, for lack of a better term. I mean, just spiritually and emotionally. But you mentioned the lake, and I just want to mention a really fun moment that happened over our summer break that I think is worth sharing.
Let me preface this. This is not F1 related at all, but it's so funny.
But it might as well be. It was that exciting. So I checked Sydney's location, and she's like at a lake somewhere, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what she's doing, like, but I'm not gonna FaceTime her because she's busy. I don't have Shelby's location, and I don't know why I assumed that she would not be with Sydney, but I was like, I'm gonna FaceTime Shelby. So I FaceTime Shelby, and she's like, hey, me and Sydney are at a lake house for Walter's birthday. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so much fun. That's gonna be awesome. And I'm talking with Shelby, and Sydney, she had come and said like, hey, and then we're like, cool. She's off somewhere doing something else. I hear Sydney from another room just scream, there's a frog in the toilet! And me and Shelby look at each other, and I go, did she just say there's a frog in the toilet? And Shelby goes, she just said there's a frog in the toilet. And I was like, I mean, I'm assuming there's a frog in the toilet, but like, what? Read it and weep. It was fucking in that thing.
This is
And
like not a small frog either. Like,
it's
I
huge. It's
mean,
like a tree frog too.
it was like it was a frog. And y'all, when I tell you, so we have been at the Airbnb for if you're watching, there's a very shaky video that Hannah like screen recorded of the frogs jump of us trying to catch the frog and release it outside because it was very much alive. And like we had been at the Airbnb for maybe 20 minutes. I go like it had been a long drive. It had been like a 3-hour drive, and so I go to use the restroom, and I open the toilet lid, and I said, what? And genuinely at first I was like, what is, like, there was just like something on the side of the bowl, and I was like, what is that? And then I got a little closer, and I was like, is that a frog? And then about the time that thought completes, it jumps to the other side, and I was like, nope. And like, I love frogs. I'm not scared of frogs. But the fact that the frog was in the toilet, and I'm like, had I been just like on autopilot, I don't even want to know what would have happened with that frog. And I am glad that I did not have to find out.
No.
But yeah. So then the next like 5 minutes was like pure chaos. When the frog jumped out of the toilet, it literally like spread eagle splatted on the ground. And you could see the imprint of where frog landed and then hopped to. But don't worry.
It was cartoonish.
It was very cartoon. It was hilarious and like something that I genuinely never would have thought was going to happen. But yeah, we caught the frog in a cup and put a little rag over it, and then we went and released it in the backyard. And it was just pure coincidence that Hannah was on the phone for that, and I'm just really glad that we got photo and video evidence, because trying to explain the chaos of that moment, it was hilarious.
Well, as you say that, like, you're so thankful that like we were luckier, like the odds coincidence of us being on the phone at that time, that was divine intervention.
Absolutely.
That was fate. That was fate.
Absolutely.
We were meant to experience that together. Just like we are meant to experience a lot of things together in a few weeks, because we are leaving next Friday for our trip to London and Spain.
I can't wait.
Anyway.
Literally, I'm like, this week I think I can like power through my way with work. Next week, that's gonna be.
There's nothing that will be getting done next week. I say this as someone who has to get a lot of things done, and they will get done, but it'll be a huge challenge for me.
It's fine.
So,
it's fine. We'll be fine.
It's fine.
But yeah,
I
mean, it was we, unless you have something otherwise to say, it was also a sprint weekend, which I didn't know until Friday at work. I got the notification from the F1 app that sprint qualifying was about to happen, and I was like, who knew? Which, it was a sprint weekend. I don't really remember much about sprint quali or the sprint race.
I have some stuff on the sprint race.
Other than it was kind of fine.
I have just one topic specifically for the sprint race. I labeled this in my notes, sprint race, aka the roast of Charles Leclerc. Would you like to know why? Because the announcers were absolutely shitting on Charles the entire race. And I was like, hey, what? Where is this coming from? I don't know. So I wrote here, first of all, I did write, because this was my first time really looking at the track. I said, I always forget until the race every year that the Dutch Grand Prix, it's like a bowl in some places, which I just think is just so cool. Like the track itself, it's kind of like sideways a little bit. Anyways,
you want to know what I discovered this weekend?
Ooh,
like,
what?
And maybe I knew this and just hadn't really ever like consciously understood it. I didn't realize that the track for the Dutch Grand Prix was literally next to the ocean.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why it rains a lot.
Well, and which makes sense. And it makes sense now why Charles Leclerc last season was sitting in a dune with like the little like wavy beach grass, and then there was sand everywhere. I don't know why I never like put two and two together. It's like the same way that I didn't realize until college that Flo Rida was literally just Florida, and the only reason I realized it was because the state of Florida was on one of his album covers.
Hmm.
It's a very there are several things in my life where something like that has happened, and I'm like, literally, I was today years old. So yeah, they did like the wide shot, and I was like, oh, I didn't know it was next to the ocean. Maybe I did subconsciously. That's what I'm going to tell myself. But yeah, so fun fact, the Dutch Grand Prix is right next to the ocean.
Yeah, Flying Dutchman's right there, man. So, anyways, um, race begins, and they're going into turn one, and it's kind of chaotic with the start of the sprint race, as is the start of any
Hmm.
race. Everyone's kind of shuffling around, like, oh, someone jarred to the front, someone fell back, whatever. Announcer goes, what can those soft tires do for Charles Leclerc? Nothing at the moment. Lando maintains second position, blah, 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 blah. Like he is, like, just in quick succession, just da 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 da
Damn.
da. And, like, I'm like, oh, okay, that's sad. You didn't have to
The
say
Sky
that.
Sports TV announcers were a lot nicer.
Yeah, you didn't have to say that, but you did. Anyways, and then as it keeps going, he goes, Leclerc is firing up those tires, but does he have anywhere to go? The answer is inevitably no. Like, dude, give him a chance.
That's wild.
And then he did end up passing Lando, so it's like the answer was
Yeah.
not inevitably no. Like, have some faith in my guy.
Yeah.
He passed Lando. Also, Hulkenberg, it was like plus 13 laps. Like, hey, there's only 24, guy. There's only 24 laps, my guy. What do you mean plus over half the race?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and then yeah, George won the sprint race. Like last lap, it started to rain, and it would have made things a lot crazier had it started a little bit earlier, but it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have for sprint race. But I was like, damn, y'all are really tough
Yeah,
on my
see,
boy
I
Charles.
watched most of the sprint race, but we were watching this Sky Sports broadcast, and they were not dogging on my boy Charles. So I guess somebody, whoever was announcing that day for F1 TV, I get maybe Charles just like didn't say hi to him in the hallway, and the guy got his feelings hurt. I don't know, man,
I don't
but
know, but
mm,
it was interesting.
mhm.
So should we get into the race now?
I think we should,
There's a lot that
because
happens.
oh boy, what a start. Um, because normally I feel so okay, I guess we should start with it had rained that morning at the track. And the track was still wet, but it was mostly dry in most of the track, except for kind of at the end, which is important.
Yes.
Um, but and there was a chance for rain again, kind of maybe later in the race, but they were pretty sure that we had already seen the rain that we were going to see that day. Um, and honestly, it was a really pretty decent start. Like Ferrari got, like, I think both Lewis and Charles gained a position or two each that lap, or that at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Lando was on pole. Whatever. But anyways, it was a pretty decent start for everybody.
Yeah.
Then we're just, kind of rolling, going through the lap. Somewhere between the end of lap one and kind of the beginning of lap two, all of a sudden you just see a Red Bull in the wall. And
Mm-hmm.
like probably one of the most like, yeah, I don't want to say, it was a pretty violent looking crash because it happened in a part of the track where it's just like literally it's like edge of track concrete wall.
Yeah.
And literally it was that meme of like, of like, Liam, no. And it goes, and then it's like, Liam, what? And it goes, oh, sorry, it's usually you. Or what, like the
Yeah.
Simpsons
Sorry.
meme.
Muscle memory. Yeah.
Literally. And so because I was like, I kind of just assumed that it was gonna be Liam. And then I just watch Max Verstappen tumble down the timing table. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh, oh no. And
Oopsie.
about the time I realize it's Max, you see his tire comically roll past his car. Um,
Cartoonishly so.
yeah, yeah. They red flagged that
Eh,
sucker.
of course they did. Yep. And what's crazy is, oh, at the same time somehow, but not.
Nico,
Gabriel. Yes. So Gabriel
this is
Bortoleto has a little
crazy.
spin moment, And when he does this, tires burn out. It's just all smoke. And you see the onboard from Nico Hulkenberg's car. He is driving. There's smoke. Suddenly, car. And he
Literally
pulls
in
a
an instant.
Isaac Hadjar from the F2 race in Monaco. Like, that reaction time literally probably saved Gabriel's life. It was an insane reaction time.
It was the scene in Cars where Lightning McQueen is driving through the smoke and the wreckage.
Yeah, and also Nico's race engineer was a little bit sassy about it, like in a funny way, not like a trying to be mean way. I just think he said this, and it was kind of like, okay, fucking duh. But Nico was like, yeah, with the spin with Gabriel, I almost T-boned him, and this engineer goes, yeah, I was watching. Like, okay, yes, of course you were. But like, did you not see him zoom out of the way? That was really cool.
Wait, maybe his engineer also got really stressed and was like, yeah, I know, I was watching.
I don't know, but there were so many funny quotes from this race. I hope you know, as the quote girl, I have so many to go through. But that was the first of many. So
it was just, it was a crazy, just like corner of the track, because it was one of, like, you watched Max's onboard and it was one of those like just crashes that never happened to Max. But it was like his tire, I think one of his rear tires hit a wet spot, and it was like his car was going straight, and then all of a sudden his steering wheel straight and his car's going to the left, whichever way it was. And it was like it was one of those, there was nothing he could have done about that, which really sucks, because that was the last Dutch Grand Prix that we're going to see for a while. It's not on the calendar next year. We don't know when it's coming back. I have a feeling that it will come back, but it's like Imola, where it's not a guarantee if we're going to get it. And I don't think we know the next time that it may come back yet, which is really unfortunate, because everything that I've seen is like the Dutch people love that race. I mean, it's the only one in your country. Like, of course you're going, but it's just like it is always a sea of orange there. And I really hate it for Max, because it's his home race. But I think we might have unlocked a new F1 curse of DNFing your home race after you've re-signed a contract.
I was literally about to mention that. Charles and Max love each other so much that they just had to do that together.
And I don't think it's the only one. Like, there have been other, maybe not directly related to contract extensions, but like Carlos had a terrible Barcelona Grand Prix, as did
Checo
Alonso, I'm pretty sure. Oscar didn't even finish his Grand Prix. Like, I'm telling you, like, everybody so far has had a real, and who was it? Like, there's like a handful of them, and they're just like, it was some meme of them just like getting in a corner because they don't have they don't have a home Grand Prix. But yeah, I guess, like, welcome new F1 curse. I wish we didn't have to deal with you, but here we are.
Make sure you re-sign, not resign. Make sure you re-sign with your team after your home race of the season.
Yes. So yeah, but yeah.
So red flag.
Red flag.
I have some stuff from during the red flag that I would like to mention.
Okay, hit me.
First of all, Pierre Gasly with one of my favorite quotes of the season, I think, actually. They're like changing his tires or whatever. They're like working on his car, and he goes on his radio, "When I speak in the pit lane, I guess all the teams can listen to us then, yeah? Yeah? All right, lovely. I love everyone then." Like, he was about to start complaining like shit, and then he caught himself. I heard that, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you.
That's so funny.
Yeah, like, and the way he said "I love everyone" then was like,
it's just that
he did not mean that.
I love everyone. Like, it's just the, like, you are like the next breath away from just like shitting on everybody, and it's the I love everyone.
Yep. All right. I love everyone then. Yep. And also,
that's so funny.
So Aston Martin in general just had a very interesting race. One thing that we didn't mention before, during that first lap, Lance and Fernando were having like the battle of the century, by the way. Like, they were really going at it. It was really cool to see. And then they're like, okay, red red flag's over. We're going to have a standing start. Everyone's starting to exit the pit lane. And then it's Lance's turn, and he gets to the end of the pit lane, and the light turns red. But everyone else is gone. And so, like, he says on his radio, he goes, the light's red, huh? And his engineer goes like, hey, I'm checking. He goes, I'm not going unless it's green. And, like, the way that he said it just sounded really funny when taken out of context. Like, the light's red, I'm not going unless it's green. It's like, yeah, fucking duh. But, like, it was funny,
like,
though.
That's
like,
not just, like, normal traffic law of just, like, the light's red. I'm not going if it's not green.
Right, exactly. And it was really funny hearing him say it because he sounded, like, pissed off. Like, what? Yeah. Why is it red? Because everyone else went. And so he asked, and he goes, I'm not going unless it's green. And then his engineer goes like, yes, understood, Lance. And then a few seconds go by, he goes, tell me if I can go or not. And the engineer goes, I'm still waiting for the FIA. And then Lance gets pissed, and he goes, so everyone who went on red gets a penalty. Like, and then they didn't. Which I just thought was, like, what? No one explained what happened there. We never got an answer for that, so...
Which isn't surprising, considering who it was about, because, spoiler not spoiler alert, somewhere in the middle of the race, Lance just is out. And literally, unless I missed it, no one said a damn thing about it.
I didn't even notice.
He was just gone.
Interesting.
You didn't finish the race, Hannah.
Hey, it was that stoplight. They just never let him go back out. Imagine. Like, there were people behind him.
It was somewhere, like, literally just, like, it was after the red flag. Like, we were racing again because, Kimmy, what was it? Kimmy led after the after the restart. Franco got a drive-through penalty for something. Ollie went out, I think, with car issues.
I wanted to talk about Ollie's,
and then, like, at some point, we just lost Lance.
And I don't know what happened.
Genuinely no. Like, normally he'll go out, and then, like, sometime later, one of them will be like, oh, yeah, and we lost Lance Stroll with a blah, 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 blah. I did not hear a damn thing about Lance going out.
It was like, sky is blue. Like, they just didn't know what to say.
No, literally. Like, sky is blue, fire's hot, ice is cold. Like,
water found in ocean. So
water fork found in kitchen.
Right. And so I did want to touch on the Ollie thing because they're going out. They haven't even, like, officially done the standing restart yet. And so Ollie's race engineer is, like, talking him through, like, okay, Lando's the lead car right now, blah, 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 blah. And while the engineer's talking, like, Ollie, like, slides into the gravel for a sec, back on the road. And then he goes, he sounded like a kid when he said this. He goes, everything broke. Like, his suspension, his power steering, everything just broke. And, like, it's not funny.
Everything broke.
It's like they hadn't even restarted, and so that's why they had to have a full, like, restart. Is
that why?
Yeah, that's why they didn't do the standing start, because Ollie was just driving. I don't know if he, like, lost grip or something. He goes kind of in the gravel, comes back out, he goes, everything broke.
It's giving Mom, I threw up.
It's giving I threw up. It was so... I still feel bad. I feel bad for him, but it was so funny. And so because
Sweet
of that...
angel baby Ollie. Oh.
At this point, only him and Max are the only two out. So at the bottom, it says Beaver out.
Yes.
BEA for Bearman.
Beaver out. Yeah. No, I already have that meme. Beaver out.
Beaver out. Yep. And then we get the actual restart. Kimmy flies up to first and all that stuff.
One thing...
Oh, go ahead. It was about the restart.
Okay, no, you go, because my thing's more of a segue.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so they do have that firm restart after that. Kimmy flies up to first, which is great for him. Oscar does a pass on George that I think was actually, like, disrespectful. And I say disrespectful because he made it look so easy. Like, he just passed George. He made it made George look like he was not paying attention at all, which I'm sure he was. Yeah. But that's why I say it was borderline disrespectful. I was like, okay, I saw that. And then Kimmy passing someone, I don't know exactly how this...
He took the lead at the race restart.
He did. I'm talking about a different pass, so continue now.
Okay. Well, so somewhere in the mix of all of this, I think we got some of them after Ollie, before Ollie, whatever. I think this was after Ollie. We get to our first round of pit stops. And I think, and normally I feel like when you see a slow pit stop or two, it's kind of isolated to one team for a weekend or a race.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think all of the mechanics at for most of the teams genuinely forgot what a pit stop was
Oh, it was
because
horrible.
oh my, like you, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, I'm pretty sure Williams, like McLaren is notoriously phenomenal at pit stops. When I tell you, like, we saw like 4-2, 3-5, 3-8, 4-7, 5-3,
5-4.
like it was, and like not just on the first group of pit stops, on the second too. Like,
No, they were still on summer vacation.
genuinely, it was the day of slow pit stops. Like, it felt like Oprah of just like, you get a slow pit stop, you get a slow pit stop, you get a slow pit stop. Like,
You know?
I cannot remember a race in recent memory where we had that many slow pit stops.
You know, like when kids start school again after summer vacation and they're still kind of like misbehaving and the teachers use that phrase of like, y'all are still on summer break or whatever. You like that was
Yeah.
the every single race engineer this weekend, every single mechanic. They
It
were like
was
still on summer break.
nuts.
So
And
slow.
it screwed over several drivers.
Especially one Oscar Piastri. He had already taken over George in that one point that I told you that was disrespectful, and then he was going to stay ahead of him, and then 5.4 seconds. He just barely missed it.
Yeah, and he came out like a car's length behind George. It
Yep.
was it was very unfortunate, and it was like it screwed Charles over. There was
Oh,
somebody like, oh, it was. I think you're smiling because do you? I assume you have the Charles Leclerc quote.
I do.
Okay, yeah. So I think I'm framing this right. So Lewis and Charles had a little bit. They were having some like inter-driver little squabble. Yes.
I think you're thinking of a different quote.
Oh.
I think you're thinking of the squabble. There's one just for Charles for his bad pit stop too,
Okay.
and
But
it's very Ferrari-esque.
yeah, yeah. The I don't remember in which situation it was for, but there was one where it's like Charles. Sometimes Ferrari has to just like completely mute his radio message because it is not safe for work.
Nope.
And there's one in particular that just really, I was like, yeah, that's my driver. Like that's mine.
That's mine.
So yeah, yeah. What is it the one that follows Charles? You did your job.
No, it's not. This
Do
is
you
just
have
for his
that
bad
one?
pit stop.
Because
I
I
believe
have
I
Charles.
do.
You did your job.
You might have that one. For just the pit stop was actually hilarious. It was very much Ferrari putting on the like, like, oh, I simply don't see it, He finishes his bad pit stop and the engineer goes, all right, outlap normal. And then Charles goes, normal with a bad pit stop. And his engineer goes, yes, normal. Just ignores him.
That's so funny.
So yeah, I would love to hear. I don't think I heard the one that you're talking
I
about.
think this one was after the race, but it like literally just Ferrari and their love for muting Charles's radio when he's mad because you get gyms like this. So it was Charles, you did your job. He goes, yeah, I did my job, but being nice fucks me over all the fucking time. It's not even being nice. It's just being respectful. I know I need to shut up, but at one point it's always the same. So
This sounds scarily similar to one of his quotes from last year towards the end of the season. I did not hear that one. I missed that.
I think that one was after the race, but it just I was like, yeah, I was like that's mine.
There were a lot of like really not safe for work radio messages, like sometime between that first one with Charles and like the normal with the bad pit stop. Then Kimmy was on one. Kimmy was
Yeah.
going off on the radio today, and his voice was all high like a child's, like, because he was that stressed out. And he, like, I don't know, just saying, like, fuck, is he stupid? What the fuck? I don't know, stuff like that. I'm like, bro, whoa.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It
but then there
was,
was the Lewis Charles thing.
yeah.
So it was interesting. I'm still kind of confused on it. I know, so, like, Lewis is like, I think y'all should pit Charles.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. And so they're like, okay, Charles box. But they don't
And Charles was
communicate, like,
no.
why. He literally goes, what do you mean, box? And so then he literally goes, fuck, all right. That's what he said. He goes, fuck, all right. And then he asks some question. I don't remember exactly what the question was. I couldn't understand it. And then no one answers him. And he goes, hello? And then another long pause. And then the engineer goes, yep, coming back to you. Um, and then for some reason they botch it. I don't know exactly what happened, but then Lewis is like, good job, guys. Great waste of time.
Yeah, it was a little bit, I think, of questionable strategy, a little bit of Lewis like, I'm faster, let me through. But it was like he was on fresher tires at that point, but I think they were like Charles was trying to build a little bit more of a tire advantage to George. It was a little bit of a whole thing. Like it Yeah, it was there were really some gems I think as a result of the pit stops. And like genuinely like then the rest of the race like there were some really good overtakes. Like I felt like we had some really good racing. Um and I think at this point Lando's leading, then it's like is it Kimmy George Kimmy, whoever it
I
is.
think
At some
it's
point
Kimmy.
Lando gets back in the lead and
Yeah.
he's kind of not quite running away with it, but it felt like kind of running away with it. And you know, you feel like you kind of have a feel of how, you know, the last couple of laps are going to go. And then I shit you not, 2 laps before the race ends, we have Williams on Williams violence.
Oh, yeah. They just
Um,
said, what if we hit each other?
I think Carlos's car locked up, and that's what like he kind of kept going straight. Alex is turning, and literally just collide with one another.
Mm-hmm.
It takes Alex out of the race. Carlos gets a 10-second time penalty. Who else have we lost? We lost Esteban at one point and got a virtual safety car. But yeah,
That
no,
was funny.
sure enough, I mean, Williams on Williams, just violence for
Oh, yeah.
no reason.
No reason whatsoever, just for the fun of it. We also forgot, I say forgot, there was more to that Lewis Charles situation too with Ferrari. There's another crazy quote that I think was probably one of the best of the race. Minus Pierre's, like, do they hear what we say? Okay, then I love everyone.
I love it.
That's legendary. So and I have to be very specific here. When Lewis's race engineer hops on the radio, he sounds happy and he sounds delusional. He sounds like, hear me out. Like, it's when I say it's the Ferrari clown strategy that we are
Mm-hmm.
all so familiar with. He
Mm-hmm.
goes, um, the way he says it, I'm gonna try to mimic it the best I can, but he goes, we're thinking something different. Happy to go to a new medium tire, Lewis. And then Lewis immediately goes, yeah, it did no good on Charles. Wasn't it slower? And he goes, well, we're not sure. And he goes, you guys have the data, so figure it out, please. What do you mean? You're recommending this, but you
I
don't
love
know.
my team.
I mean,
I
like,
love my team.
I love my team, but you can't make this up. Like, it didn't do good on Charles. Was it slower? We're not sure.
Okay, we'll figure it out. That's
Figure it
funny.
out.
I
Yeah,
didn't I didn't
he
hear
lit-
that one.
and he literally said at some point, I think it was after Lando passed Kimmy and was like then on Lewis's butt right before he took the lead
Uh-huh.
again, was the engineer said something about like making like try to hold him if you can, blah blah blah. And Lewis goes, "Are you using me as a guinea pig? What the fuck?" He literally said that. What are you doing?
That's
Like what
amazing.
I
Oh, that's
and then
fantastic.
also another announcer. I'm sorry. I told you I had the quotes. That was my specialty for this race. The announcers had some more announcer versus Ferrari violence, and it goes Lando, Kimmy, Lewis, and Lando's like behind both of them, and he passes Kimmy, the announcer's like, and Lando has passed Kimi, and that will surely eventually be for the lead. And I'm like, Lewis is still there. Like, you just don't believe in him. They just don't believe in him.
It's fine.
But yeah, and then George was sassy again with the swap, and it was just a whole thing.
No.
Yeah.
It was kind of wild. There were several just like, I'm like, when did we lose this person? Or when did we lose that person? And it was like genuinely an entertaining race. Liam had a great race. Honestly, so did Yuki. But like, so Liam, he scores his first points in a Red Bull.
Right. I'm like, whoa, where was that when you were here? But also, it's a completely different car.
It might have happened last season if they'd given him more than like 3 races.
No, literally, I'm like, they should have given him enough time for that to happen. But they didn't. And
that's kind of Red Bull's MO. And like, granted, Isaac has done really well at Red Bull so far, but it's just like,
he has.
That has always been one of my biggest like grievances with Red Bull, is the fact that it just, in the last several years, you have two, like, if you don't if you're not leading the world championship in 2 races, sorry, you're going back to RB and we're replacing you. And
which is just,
I don't know. I hope that Liam like really just felt kind of validated and just proud of himself, because he should. I mean,
I agree.
Just find out you're coming back into Red Bull, there's already a history there. And he had a great weekend and just did really, really well. And that to me, like, it was fun to see.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that he feels like some level of, like, I don't know, I don't want to say closure, that's not the right word, but like you said, validation of like, okay, I didn't just like that. I hope that he didn't have any imposter syndrome after leaving Red Bull, which I'm sure a lot of them have at some point or another, because, you're the pinnacle of motorsport and there's only like 22 drivers. So I'm sure at least one of them has imposter syndrome on a daily basis. But I think I was really proud of him for getting that.
Mm-hmm. Well, good news is he's not 23rd out of 22 for the standings in the driver championship. That currently belongs to Checo. There are a couple of them that still have 0 points. Valtteri, Checo, and I think Yuki. But the way that they, I guess, rank the ones that have 0 points, Checo is 23 of 22.
Oh,
which isn't a reflection on him. It's just really unfortunate. And we do need to remind ourselves that he is driving for Cadillac, and they are the struggle bus. It's their first season in F1, but yeah, he's not 22 of 22. He is 23 of 22 right now. So
who's having a pretty decent redemption arc? And by redemption arc, I mean like he's doing better than abysmal. That I'm kind of proud of. Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
He got P9, and earlier in the race he did have an old man moment for sure. At one point during the race, he said something along the lines of like, "Hey, I need some race info. I have no idea what position I'm in. Am I last? Am I first?" And the race engineer had to tell him, "You're P9." But then like, I mean, he finished P9, which is points. Mm-hmm. And I know that, like, I think the last race, I want to say Aston Martin had some points too. So I'm like, okay, like we're getting somewhere.
Got 3 right now.
Yeah, something like that. And so I think he got maybe P10 in the last race, and so P9 this time.
But I mean, hey, points are points.
Points are points. And it's funny because when they finished the race, like even throughout, like when they were doing some of his messages before, he was like, I think the engineer was saying something like, we can't hear half of what you're saying. Like there was like a radio issue or something. And so when they crossed the finish line, they're like, great job with Fernando, P9, blah, blah, blah. And Fernando's like, thank you guys, great race, the usual stuff. And the engineer says something along the lines of like, hey, like it was a bad day for your radio though. We could only hear like every other word that you said. And he goes, that's probably good news for you guys though. Fernando's self-aware. Like, no, that was probably better for y'all.
That's pretty good.
I mean, I was very pleasantly surprised at how this race went. Even with Max
Yeah,
DNFing, I was like, this is a very
I
entertaining race.
it was very entertaining for not always the most awesome of reasons, but
Mm-mm.
I wasn't bored. I mean, I don't want to call Ferrari's strategy bad because it wasn't, but it also wasn't super, it didn't feel super stellar, but they did fine. I mean, what did they finished fourth and 5th,
4 and 5, yeah.
which is not bad. I mean, they qualified lower than that. I think they qualified what, 6 and 7 maybe, or what,
Something
I
like
don't
that.
remember exactly. But it wasn't bad. I mean, so you had what? You had Lando, Kimmy, and then George. So I think this was Lando's first win of this. No, second win
No,
of the
that
season.
was the last race. This is the second win of the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. I was
Because
like,
last
wait
time
a
we were
second.
talking, yeah, we were talking about how Lando was like, "Oh shit, wait, I'm a world champion. Hold on," and then
Right.
he's like, "Yeah,
Yes. I will say though, not to give ourselves more delusion, because that's usually not something that we have trouble just kind of giving ourselves. The last time Lando won the Dutch Grand Prix, Charles won Monza the next race.
you know, we've already seen the pattern with re-signing with your team and then crashing into a wall at your home race.
So
I'm
why
not
not this
opposed to the
one?
hope. I ready up
Twist
that
my
needle for the
arm. A
hopium. I
Charles
mean,
win in Monza? I would sure hate to see that.
oh no, I would hate seeing that. No.
Oh no.
It's like, what is this?
So,
Like, oh no, I
who
would hate
knows?
if a sexy goth girl like slid into my DMs. No, it's same with like, I would hate it if Charles Leclerc won Monza.
Maybe. And
No.
honestly, it would be pretty fantastic because after this race, so Ferrari, we are less than 100 points behind Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship, which is terrifying. My coworker pointed that out, and I'm like, I really wish you hadn't told me that. Because I try not to look too much at the points because then I get really hopeful, and I'm like, I really wish I didn't know this right now. Um, and then George and Lewis are tied for second in the Constructors on points. So the hope is hoping. I've said what I said. I'll stand by it.
The hope is hoping
Um,
in.
the hope is hoping. And so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Really gonna hope for the best. Um, but we'll either regardless of the outcome of Monza, we'll be in a pub in London, so who gives a
We
shit?
will absolutely be watching it from a pub in London, which is, I think, the best part of it. So there's no way. Well, I was about to say something. I am
Yeah,
afraid of.
don't. We do not speak in absolutes.
There's very
I don't even want to
little.
know what you were gonna say.
Yeah,
I don't want to know. No,
I'm not
don't
gonna
tell
say
me.
it. I'm not gonna say.
Don't tell me. I
I'm
don't want to
You know
know.
what? I'm gonna speak into the universe that Ferrari is going to have a great Monza race. That's what I'm gonna say.
And Madrid. But if they
And
can only
Madrid.
have a great one, I would prefer it to
Madrid.
be Madrid.
I would prefer it to be the race where I could see them succeed.
Selfishly, I would no, I'm not going to say that. Self Let me change the statement that I was going to say. Selfishly, I would rather have Ferrari have a much better weekend in Madrid than they do in Monza.
But I would like them to have good weekends both times.
Correct.
But I am not going to be delusional enough to assume that we are going to be blessed with both, or even one of them. I'm trying to be
Correct.
real, like, or even one of those things. I think if, with especially with like the Italians and whatnot and the Catholics like praying for Ferrari, I think if God really did take into consideration prayers for Formula One races, Ferrari would have that would be unbeatable right now. Um,
Yeah.
God's like, give me something more realistic to work with. Like,
Unfortunately,
I'm
probably.
sorry, like I can't. I gave y'all
He's
free
like one thing
will.
at a time, and this is too big a thing.
No, literally, he's like, I gave y'all free will, and the Ferrari strategist, I mean, they're running with it, so y'all gotta pray for something else.
Oh, But you know what? Again, regardless of what happens, we're gonna be in Europe, and honestly, that's enough.
I'm so excited. I
I
have
can't
been
wait.
thinking about it nonstop. I think at least once a day Parker tells me, "Man, I need to be in London. I need to be in Madrid." And
Oh,
I say the same thing.
no less than once a day for like probably the last 2 months. I can't wait for vacation. I need a vacation. I can't wait. How many days? Oh, and now we are
Like
at
10 days,
yeah
10 or
yeah
11.
we leave a week from Friday. So yeah, the Monza episode should be fun. We'll film from somewhere in Europe.
I think we should film in the pub. At least a little bit of it. I think maybe after we all sit around and talk about it, but like we at least
Yeah,
have a few moments that we split it or throw
probably.
in there for the
So
yeah.
be prepared. We'll probably be a little bit of a chaotic
She's already been poiping. She's already been drinking in
I think I
advance
just had
for
a
the pub.
stroke. Um, right. I remember where I was going with that. It will probably be a little chaotic, which I'm sure will come as no surprise because these episodes are, super, super subdued and never chaotic in the slightest.
We're always really
Um,
organized.
so organized. We don't tangent at all or talk about frogs and toilets or,
Why would we ever talk
um,
about frogs and toilets? I can't believe you'd even
that's
come up with
crazy.
that.
Who would do that?
So
On an
you had
F1
to.
podcast?
How'd
That's
you even make that
crazy.
up? Frogs and toilets? That makes no sense. That would never happen.
That never happens. Anyway.
Anyways, we will see you next time from London.
Ah!
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 Yeah.
I'm like, if oh, yeah.
Do you think?
If you can't tell, we're only a teensy little bit excited.
Do you think for the next episode we should try to talk in a British accent?
No.
Why not? I'm really good at it.
Yes, but still no.
Okay. At least I might I might do the intro in a British accent with y'all from like
boy.
our hotel room or something. I might make us all do an attempt as part of it, but
Oh, jeez. Well, if that's what happens, you got something to look forward to, folks.
that's true. And Parker's British accent is always like really, really over dramatic and overdone. His is always like beans and toast in it. That's how Parker does his British
It's
accent. So
Oh, bless him. I can't wait to bully him in person with
oh,
love, of
it's gonna be
course.
so
But
fun.
I
He
mean,
was
for
actually
real, bro.
he was concerned. He thought that he was being too mean to Shelby, and I was like, no.
No,
I'm like, she's
no.
like it's the sibling thing. Like she's fine. If
Uh-huh.
she actually had
I
her
was gonna say,
feelings
I'm like,
hurt, we would know. She would tell us.
me
And
and
he was like,
Parker,
okay.
I mean, it's brother sister like sibling energy
Hmm.
for sure. And Shelby just slots right into that and it's going to be so fun. So fun.
And you know what? I stand by my husband and everything. I'm very much of like the firm belief like don't talk shit about your partner and things like that, and I don't. However, if it is an argument with Sydney and Shelby, I am almost always on the girls' side, even if Parker is correct. I just
Yeah,
have to.
yeah.
It's part of the experience. He's the only boy, and he always picks on me at home, and so this is my chance to gang up on him. You know.
We're helping level the playing field.
Exactly. They're there for my rescue from my pestering husband who loves me so much.
Who we love dearly.
We love him dearly. Anyways,
But yeah.
we'll see you in
Oh, I'm
London.
so excited. We'll see y'all for Monza and then for also Madrid, where we will be. Anyways, we're only a little bit excited. Actually, not excited at all. We've just been lying about our excitement this whole time, obviously.
Yeah, pathological liars here. Anyways, and with that, I'm Hannah,
I'm Sydney,
and this lights out.
and away we go.
Bye.
Bye.